Everyone researching a hair transplant in India is sure to have seen advertisements in in-flight magazines, on Instagram, on Facebook, and many other platforms, social media, print media, claiming a hair transplant without scars, scarless hair transplants. And then there are clinics that tell you that hair transplant produces scars. You're told that every surgery will give scars, there's no surgery free of scarring. Now, whom do you believe? You have just started to research hair transplants. It's a cosmetic enhancement that you're seeking. Why are people talking about scars? So let's find out what is the truth. One of the most common questions asked during a consultation before a hair transplant is, "Doctor, will the procedure cause scarring?" And it's a very legitimate question. A person coming in for a cosmetic enhancement does not want visible scarring. This is completely understandable. Hair transplant, after all, is an optional procedure, a cosmetic procedure. So when we talk about scarring in hair transplant, it not only comes as a surprise, but it is quite disheartening. It compels the patient to think over the procedure that he's going in for. And this is the reason why many clinics hesitate mentioning this four-letter word. So coming to the nitty-gritties of hair transplant and scarring, hair transplant, after all, is not a reversible salon beautification procedure. There is no gainsaying the fact that hair transplant is a surgical procedure. A surgical procedure which is irreversible. And as a patient researching a hair transplant, you have to understand that there will be a level of scarring after hair transplant surgery. There is no surgical procedure which does not leave scars. It has become the norm in this industry to only talk about results. How many times, after all, has a clinic in its videos or during a consultation shown you the donor area of a patient? It has now become very easy to grow hair, but growing hair aesthetically without leaving collateral damage in the donor area is what the art and skill of hair transplant is all about. The ability of a hair transplant surgeon to cause minimal scarring and to camouflage whatever scarring occurs in a deft manner is one of the core skills of a hair transplant surgeon. This means that unless you cut your hair very short or you shave it off, scars of hair transplant should be imperceptible, inconspicuous. And then there are some lucky ones, especially Caucasians, people with very fair skin, who have barely noticeable scars. Well, that is their constitution. That is their genetics. Not everyone can hope to be visibly scarless after a hair transplant procedure. So let's discuss more about scarring after hair transplant. Hang on. For those who haven't subscribed, please do. Your encouragement keeps the channel going. So does an FUE procedure leave scars? Most definitely yes. It's a surgical procedure. It is bound to leave scars. Beware of any clinic which claims to offer scarless surgery, as these claims are always dishonest. Since it is impossible to perform a surgical procedure like a hair transplant and not cause some degree of scarring. Hair restoration boosts your confidence, but this comes at a price. Unfortunately, scarring is an inevitable byproduct of any form of surgery, and hair transplant is one. Whenever an incision is made into the skin, be it during harvesting of grafts with a punch which is sharp, or during slit making before the grafts are planted into the recipient area, an indelible scar is going to be left behind forever. So what's the point of getting a hair transplant, you may like to ask, if you are going to be left all scarred? When a hair follicle is extracted from the donor area, using a micropunch, it leaves behind a circular scar surrounding the original hair follicular grouping, which we call a graft. And each scar will be no bigger than 0.9 millimeters in diameter. And there will be several of them depending upon how many grafts are required to cover the bald area in this session. But this 0.9 millimeter incision, round incision, given the proper healing environment, will within no time contract itself to half its size, that is 0.45 millimeters, in as short a period of time as 12 hours. Provided the procedure has been done skillfully, there has been no heat damage from the machine, there has been no inappropriate wobbling of the punch due either to the quality of the punch or because of shake of the hand during harvesting. And of course, no infection. The procedure should have been conducted in a sterile environment. So the level of scarring depends on a host of factors, and they are enumerated as follows. the number of grafts being harvested in one session, your racial type, whether the doctor follows the golden 1:5 ratio of harvesting or not, whether proper high magnification is being used or not during harvesting as well as during plantation, the type and quality of the punch being used, post-operative care of the recipient and the donor areas, the patient's genetics, and last but not the least, who is doing the harvesting. Neophytes and fly-by-night harvesters who do not have a skin in the game will regularly provide bad scars. Additionally, the type of hair transplant procedure, whether FUE or FUT that you have, will have an impact on the level of scarring that will follow. So always insist that the doctor you believe in, the doctor due to which you are going in for a hair transplant, is the doctor who will do your harvesting, is the doctor who will do your slit making. That is, both the surgical steps should be done by the doctor in whom you believed before signing up for your hair transplant. Ensure there are no last-minute surprises after you've signed up. And how to prevent these last-moment surprises, I have covered in this video. Please have a look. So friends, scars are real, but it's not all that bad. When a hair transplant procedure is conducted appropriately by a qualified surgeon who has several such procedures under his belt, you will never get large, visible, unsightly scars. For experienced surgeons know how to conduct a hair transplant procedure. They do both the surgical steps themselves, harvesting as well as slit making. They are not in a hurry if they are doing only one case in a day. The skillfully done procedure you will get when you choose a doctor properly will give you minimal scarring, and whatever scarring is there can be very well concealed without it becoming apparent. Experienced surgeons know how to cause minimal scarring due to heat, minimum scarring due to wobbling, minimum scarring by preventing infection to happen, and minimal scarring by knowing how to extract, keeping the golden 1:5 ratio in mind. Also, follow-up care is as essential as the procedure itself. During an FUE procedure, the surgeon removes or harvests individual grafts one by one from what is called the donor area or the safe zone. Each graft is removed with a micro punch, which is akin to a paper punch. Depending upon how many grafts are required, an FUE procedure may require thousands of grafts to be harvested. Fortunately, the scars caused by FUE procedures are very fine, and once the skin has healed, barely perceptible white dots are left behind, and they are hardly noticeable, making this procedure of FUE hair transplant ideal for patients who want to wear short hair without noticeable scarring. So here are a list of ways in which the patient, after the hair transplant is over, can minimize scarring. Number 1, follow instructions given by the hair transplant doctor. Number 2, maintain proper hygiene. Number 3, avoid direct ultraviolet rays for 3 weeks. Do not scratch the operated areas. Do not engage in heavy exercises for 2 weeks. Do not apply any lotion to the operated areas without asking the doctor, besides what has been advised, what has been prescribed. So many times I have patients who have got the hair transplant done from other clinics and who have visible scarring, visible dense scarring, and who want these scars to be corrected. So what are the ways in which scars can be corrected? This topic has been covered in earlier videos, a link to which is above. You can go through these videos. Very helpful videos will tell you about how scarring can be corrected if the scars are perceptible, if the scars are visible, if the scars upset you when you wear your hair in close cropped fashion. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions about hair transplant procedures, about scarring after hair transplant procedures, if you're seeking a hair transplant in India and want a consultation, or any other topic related to hair loss and hair loss medication for men and women, do leave a comment in the comment section below and I'll surely get back to you. Thank you for watching again. Have a nice day. God bless you.